Hi, this is Joan Fabiano with Grassroots in Michigan and Lansing, Michigan Tea Party, and I'm here with Michelle McManus from Michigan's 35th District, and Michelle is a candidate for Secretary of State. And I've got a couple questions for you, excuse me, Senator McManus.
You can call me Michelle.
What do you see as your three top priorities should you be elected to Secretary of State?
Well, first of all, thank you, Joan, for taking the time to interview me. And I do want to touch on that, but some of the people that are watching this might not know a whole lot about me. I just take a quick opportunity to tell people where I'm from. I live in Leelanau County. I represent the 35th, as you mentioned, which is 11 counties in northern Michigan, Michigan Senate. And I have been in a state rep. I've worked for Governor Engler, and now I'm a state senator. And I also live and work and manage a cherry farm, and that's where I learned both faith, family, and hard work. And just to answer your question right on, you should know I first am the chair of campaigns election oversight, and so I have been the firewall when it comes to initiatives that are being pushed, one by Acorn or MoveOn.org, or even our Democratic counterparts. And those different groups have been trying to manipulate our election process, and I have been that firewall when it comes to No Reason AV. No Reason AV has not moved because of me. Early voting has not moved because of me. And I will be a tough Secretary of State who will enforce the laws and take on Acorn. That's probably the most important thing for Republicans in the next election, to make sure that our elections are fair and to protect every sanctity of everyone's vote. Secondly, Secretary of State's office, a lot of people think of elections, but really a lot of the Secretary of State's responsibilities has to do with interacting with almost every citizen across the state, and that means customer service. I have proven that I believe in customer service. I have a strong record in terms of customer service, and I think the next Secretary of State is going to have to think outside the box and look for new technologies on how to make it easier for people like you and I to interact with the Secretary of State when it comes to getting our motor vehicle tabs, our license plates, and we have to look for ideas and avenues of that access that might involve technology, might mean going into partnership with different organizations across the state to make it easier for people to access without costing us more money, because that's really going to be the next issue. The issue for the next Secretary of State is going to be less money for their budget. It's about a $213 million budget, and so the Secretary of State is going to need to know how to, one, deal with that budget and cut the things that aren't necessary, and look for things that will provide access at a reduced cost. I have proven that in the Michigan Senate. I mean, I'm a strong fiscal conservative. I am the one of 3 state senators that voted no on the Michigan business tax, and we've seen what that tax does to the state. We need less taxes in the state, less fees in the state, to make sure that people will stay here, will come here, and you will see that in me as the next Secretary of State. Finally, I think we need a Secretary of State that knows how to restructure government, and I have proven that I can restructure government. I chair the DNR budget. And instead of just cutting that budget, I decided to help the governor out in this particular case and make government smaller. Take another department and combine it with the DNR, so you have the DEQ and the DNR together, call it the Department of Conservation, and streamline state government. The next Secretary of State is going to have to understand how to make that particular budget that they oversee structurally, fiscally better than it is today. And I have proven that I can do that. You'll find my conservative credentials are very strong. I'm pro-life, I'm pro-gun, and I'm a fiscal conservative. Great conservative credentials. I will be an advocate for the consumer, and I will be Acorn's worst nightmare.
Michelle, what is your position on the Real ID, or the implementation of any Real ID type of instrument here in Michigan?
Well, first of all, this is a mandate set down by the feds. And I think that our current Secretary of State has done a great job in terms of trying to give you and I opportunities, different avenues to dealing with this Real ID issue. We have an enhanced driver's license right now, and and you can get an enhanced driver's license, or you can stick to your simple passport. I am not a big believer of mandates. I have stood in between mandates before, and I think the next Secretary of State must make sure that we secure each and every one of our identity. That's the most important thing. And the Real ID has some concerns that I have with it, especially when it involves my Social Security number. I mean, I don't use that or give that out for anybody. In fact, it's usually in my gun safe. So I think that the next Secretary of State has to look at issues like this and future issues that unfortunately the Obama administration is going to send to us, and going to have to be willing to stand up and stand in way of some of those mandates and fight for Michigan citizens, and I will do that.
Now, you mentioned that you had a 2-year-old, which I didn't know you had a 2-year-old. Yes. So how do you plan to balance your role of mother and role of Secretary of State?
Wonderful question, and you should know a little bit about my family. I was married over 15 years ago, and so when I was married, not only did I gain a husband, a wonderful husband, which I call St. Keith, but I also gained a stepdaughter who then was 7 and now is just over 21 years old in college. And then we were fortunate enough to have Mary 11 years ago when I served in the Michigan House and actually ran for Congress. So it's not like I haven't done this before. And then we chose to expand our family about 5 years ago, and we chose to expand it in the way of adoption. And so we're very fortunate parents of a 2-year-old by the name of Ben, and he's a wonderful little guy. I have had the wonderful support of my husband for over 15 years, and he knew what he was getting into when he married me over 15 years ago. He supports my service to the public, and we just have been able to balance it through the last 14 years through numerous campaigns and numerous services to state government. And so I'm a multitasker. I can do almost anything. I cherry farm, I legislate, I'm a mom, and I'm able to balance all those.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. That's Senator Michelle McManus. This is Joan Fabiano, Grassroots in Michigan, in Lansing, Michigan Tea Party.